Ladies and gentlemen, politics is a very interesting game. And there is one thing which is also part of politics: power. Power is sweet in politics. And that same power is also very fluid. Fred Okengo Matiangi yesterday deactivated his official Twitter handle. By the time of deactivating that Twitter handle, it had 1.3 million Kenyans following Fred Okengo Matiangi. And before Fred Matiangi deactivated that Twitter handle, he had deleted all the posts on his Facebook account. The Facebook account is also verified. It has 29,000 people following him. And he deleted everything. The only thing remaining there, the last post on that page was made on 16th day of January 2014. And by that time, I don't think Fred Matiangi was working as a cabinet secretary. Yeah, he was actually working as a cabinet secretary. So I want us to look at why Fred Matiangi decided to deactivate his Twitter handle and probably decided also to delete all the posts on his Facebook page. Before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Now, I want you guys to name for me 3 individuals you believe are likely to suffer, who are very powerful under the current regime. For me, on top is Karanja Kibicho, followed by Fred Matiangi and Francis Atwoli. Already Francis Atwoli is confessing his sins and has acknowledged William Ruto as the new father. Karanja Kibicho, as the Principal Secretary for Interior, was at the center of William Ruto's swearing-in ceremony. I'm sure he will soon vacate office for someone else. Fred Matiangi did not even bother to be part and parcel of the transition committee. So for me, those are the 3 people I think will find it very difficult under William Ruto. And of course, they also made life very difficult for Ruto. Maybe you can name for me any other individual you think will have problems. But why would Fred Matiangi delete or deactivate his Twitter handle? Because remember, Fred Matiangi at some point was nursing political ambitions. And the Twitter handle is one of the avenues which he can use to sell his agenda to Kenyans. Due to the fact that now he's no longer a cabinet secretary. He will not have that kind of platform as a minister, but he will still have Twitter. He would have still had a Twitter to advance his agenda. He would still have Facebook. So the fact that he was one of the people who were viewed as a potential presidential candidate in this country, his move to delete or to deactivate that account is suspicious. For me, I tend to think that Fred Matiangi has been forced to delete that Twitter account and even delete Facebook pages because of these 5 reasons. Maybe I could be wrong, but listen to the 5 reasons. Then if there is something you would also want to add, please add it at the end of the video. So pay attention. The first thing I think why Matiangi has deleted or deactivated that account is because that account was not his own account. Probably someone in government created that account, who was working with him, created that account and used to operate that account. You see, like even if you go to status page, it's actually a property of the government. So when Uhuru came over, it was there. When Ruto took over, even the posting, the styles of posting has changed on that page. So I tend to think that when Matiangi took over, he was not on Twitter, but he was already on Facebook. And his communications team decided to create a Twitter account for him. And now they've decided to deactivate that account. So probably what they're still doing is that they're still deleting every other post on that Twitter. Then that Twitter account will probably be handed over to someone else. I'm not too sure, but I tend to think that that's the fact. You know, like for example, me, there's a time when I was still involved in politics. I was running accounts, Facebook and Twitter account for several politicians. Yeah, sometimes you hand them over to them. Sometimes they are not interested. But whatever you post, you have to get approvals from them. So when they're not interested, what you do, you change. You make the account dormant a bit, then you change the name of that account to something else. So that's one thing I know probably is happening. Matiangi never used to operate this account. It was being operated by the state. So the people at the state believes that that's their property. So they are going to hand it over to someone. I won't be surprised because 1.3 million people is not a joke. So that's number one. Number two, I think Fred Matiangi was also trying to avoid trolls on Twitter. You know, Twitter is where people are attacked. Forget about Facebook. Twitter. Because this is a guy who was really anti-William Ruto. And Ruto is now the president. So it was expected that probably most of William Ruto's supporters were going to descend on him with blows and punches on his face after William Ruto was sworn in. So to avoid that, he decided to deactivate this account. Then after deactivating this account, he would wait. At the right time, maybe he will start posting. But for now, I tend to think that he really didn't want trolls to bombard him with attacks. You can also argue that on Facebook, he decided to delete everything so that if someone wanted to go and check, for example, what he used to do before, they won't find. Just to avoid the trolls. That's number two. Number three, in my view, I think Fred Matiangi is keen on taking a break from politics. It was rumored that Fred Matiangi had serious ambitions for 2022 or even 2027. At some point, Fred Matiangi was one of the people considered presidential materials in this country. And things change very fast in politics. He didn't succeed. In fact, if you go to Kisii region, Fred Matiangi is being accused of ensuring certain parties, certain individuals won some seats. And he's actually associated with a political party in Kisii region or in the Gusii region. So I think the outcome of this election complicated the equations for him. If Raila Odinga would have won, I'm sure Fred Matiangi would have still stayed around. And the fact now Ruto won, it means a lot of things has to change. One of them is his political activities. So he's taking a break from politics, and the only way to take a break from politics is to activate the accounts, delete posts from Twitter. So just take a break. I've seen Moses Kuria also claiming that he joined Facebook or Twitter because he wanted Ruto to win, and the fact that Ruto has now won, so that Facebook page or Twitter handle is no longer useful. Moses Kuria is one of the people who is lying to people. He created that account even before Ruto joined Facebook. Those are the realities. Number four, in my view, I tend to think that the other reason why we might have deleted that account is because you want to reposition the account for new engagements. You know, his previous account was about government, his role as a cabinet secretary. Now, Fred Matiangi is rumored to be headed to the UN or to the classroom. So which means he will no longer be a cabinet secretary. If he goes to the UN, then that account probably will have to meet those standards. So one of the things he'll be doing is to try to reposition himself. So he's deleted all those things. He will wait a bit. Then after some time, he will now start posting things relevant to what he's doing. If he'll join the UN, then whatever he will be posting will be based on those particular issues. And I also tend to think, number five, that probably the person who was managing Twitter account for the cabinet secretary realized that his term came to an end. And because 1.3 million users on Twitter is huge, the person is not keen on handing over the account to Matiangi. I've seen so many people who have lost their accounts because the people they trusted to manage for them their accounts really messed them up. So probably someone somewhere decided, okay, the account has 1.3 million people. I used to run this account on behalf of the Matiangi. Matiangi is no longer the cabinet secretary. He doesn't have the password I have. So what do? Let me deactivate the account. Then I see what he can do. Then after some time, probably I'll come back with that account with a different name. You know, Twitter, 1 million followers on Twitter is huge. That's enough to make someone make good money on Twitter. And lastly, I think it's a signal that it marks the end of an era for Fred Okengo Matiangi. So for me, if you ask me, Matiangi could actually be communicating with Kenyans that it is the end of an era. I was here, I did that, now it's time to disengage. He doesn't want to engage with Kenyans anymore. Please let me know what you think, but that's my take. Thank you guys, and please may you have a good day. Bye-bye.